Well, hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com. Thank you for stopping by again today on the channel. I'm excited to share with you a new card. I'm going to use the Flame Stencil, which is new from Missing Stamps, and then also this stamp set, which is called Witch's Brew, and I'll pull in the stamp set called Magic Speak and Slugs and Kisses for another one of the images today. And I'm going to use this brand new mini die set that I haven't used yet, and that's the Potions mini die. I thought I might bring in this other stencil to use the masking stencil on the flames, but I ended up not using that cheetah print stencil. So let's get started on this card. I started by taping off my panel to my glass mat, and I'm going to start with the top of the card, and I want the flames to be on the top third of my card panel. So I'm going to move that largest flame all the way up to the top of the card panel and ink it on with my darkest shade of blue, which is going to be the Blueprint Sketch. So that'll be our first flame set. Then I wanted to show you that's the mask right there, the very top. You can mask off that flame, the large flame. It fits perfectly. Like I said, I ended up not doing that because I had so much going on this card before I put on that cheetah print, so I ended up not masking that off. But now I'm going to bring in some Salty Ocean Distress ink, and you can see that I got some on that next flame, but that's okay because we're going to cover that up. Now for the smallest flame, I thought I would bring in some blue paste here. This is a shiny blue Nouveau paste, and it's a glacier paste, which I love. I've had this for a long time, so I thought I might as well use it. So you can use whatever you have. You can even color some white paste up with blue, any of these blue inks. But this one's going to be really pretty for our blue flame. Now, the reason I thought of blue flame is because sometimes when you're doing science experiments, you use a Bunsen burner and the flame is actually blue. And so that's what caused me to want to make these blue. And then I just love this Nouveau paste. I put a light layer on just like that, and let me show you what it looks like. When this dries, it's going to dry a little bit shiny, and I think it is so beautiful. So I'm going to set that aside to dry while we work on the next part of our card. I'm going to go ahead and stamp out our images and then get those colored up. But I do all the coloring off screen for this one because this did take me a little while to color all of the images, and then I used the coordinating dies to cut them all out. So I did use Memento Tuxedo Black ink for these images so I could Copic color them. And here they all are. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my potions. There are some littler dies that go inside, or they fit inside, and that's like the little potions that go inside, and then these can also be used as labels for the bottles. So it's really fun. You can mix and match. There's some corks in there and also some little mini hearts. Lots of things you can do. So I cut these out with white cardstock, and now I'm going to color them with a light blue Copic marker for just to represent the glass on these bottles. Of course, you can make them any color that you want. They could be green bottles, they could be any color. You could also use colored cardstock for them. Now I'm coloring the inside part of that represents the liquid of these potions, and I'm going to use some different shades of purple, and that one looked a little too much like the blue, so I'm going to bring in some more greens and turn it into like a green potion. And then we'll go ahead and glue all these together. So I've got my liquid glue. I'm going to use my little gem picker to position those and put them on just like so. Now it takes a little bit of time to put these together, but I think in the end it's so worth it. These turn out really, really cute. Now I'm also going to put the corks on the top. I colored those up with a brown Copic marker, and they fit perfectly. There are some round ones as well. And so you can just kind of mix and match and see which ones fit where. Once I get those all put together, look how cute they are. I'm going to line them up right there. And then I'm going to pull in another die set. This is the Woodgrain frame die. And I'm going to use that wood grain to build a wood paneling on my card. And I'm also going to bring in the Perspective Floor stencil. I love this stencil. I use it all the time. It is so handy. So while I color up these wood grains, I just cut them out of white, and now I'm going to use some antique linen to add a little color to them. So you can see that I'm just going to use the wood paneling. I'll cut off those edges. And for the Perspective Floor, I'm going to use the one in the middle, this one right here, and I will ink it on with some light blue ink. I think I'm using Speckled Egg for this. And I'll ink that on, and then I'm going to go around the edges to darken it up with some black soot. So once I get this inked on nice and light, it's just kind of going to mirror the blue in the flames. So the tops and the bottom of this panel will have that blue element to them. And then here's the black soot. I'm going to take a smaller brush and just ink around the edges to darken those edges. So let me show you how that looks. I'll finish this up right here and pull off the stencil. And once I finish this, I realized I actually inked this on a little bit crooked. I lined it up a little bit crooked, but I'm going to try to compensate for that by adding our wood paneling a little bit. Well, I'm just going to try to make it work. That's just what you do when you're a card maker, right? So I'm just going to test out these images, see how they're going to look. And I really do like the way this is shaping up here. I'm going to add the potion bottles around, and I realized that the potion bottles were getting a little bit lost in that background. So I decided to take some dark blue ink and ink around the edges just a little bit, and that's going to help them to stand out more from that background, and they really are going to pop just a little bit more. So I'm just using a little finger dauber here with some dark blue ink. And there we go. I'm going to do that to all of these bottles now. Next, I've stamped out some of the sentiments from the Magic Speak stamp set onto a speech bubble. So I used a couple of the sentiments, stamped them with some blue ink, and then I cut out an additional speech bubble in black to make that be the shadow. So these are going to stand out from the background of those flames. Now that I have everything kind of placed where I want it, we can really go ahead and start putting this card together. I'm going to glue down the wood paneling first. And so I just glue that down, then turn it over and cut off the excess from the edges, just like that. And these work really great for wood paneling. I considered doing some blue wood paneling, but it was just a lot of blue on the card. So that's why I went with this shade, just a light brown, and I'm just kind of compensating for the crooked floor here. And it's okay, it's all going to work out in the end. Once I have that all put down, I can add my images, and these are going to be added with some liquid adhesive, just straight to the card there. And then the speech bubble sentiments I'm going to add with some foam adhesive, and I'll also glue down all of the bottles with some liquid adhesive. Super simple. Once you get all of the pieces together, then it's really fast to come together. I just love these little images. All of the Magic collection works really great together. You can do a lot of mix and match with the images and the little mini die sets. And this Magic Speak, of course, is now a new favorite. Every time I look at that stamp set with all the sentiments on it, I think of a new card to create. So I do think it's a must-have. So there we go. There's all the bottles. Now I'm going to add the sentiments with the foam, just like this. And I just want to make sure I get those in the right place so you can still see that blue flame in the background. I'm going to change this one just a touch there. There we go. And that looks pretty good right about there. So the last thing to do is to add this to a card base. I'll add that with some liquid adhesive there, and we'll finish that off with one extra little detail. So here's our card so far. Look at that beautiful flame. I love how it catches the light in the background. There's a lot to look at on this card so far, but I thought that her little potion needed some 3D bubbles, so I'm going to bring in some blue liquid pearls and add some tiny little dots. It's hard to see here in the video, but I'll show you at the end in the photos. You'll be able to see it a little bit better. Let me hold it up close too. You can kind of see it here. It's a really cool 3D addition to the card. And those are going to dry nicely. And then here is our card. I hope you enjoyed this card making process today. I had a great time making it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with more card inspiration and more fun real soon. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.